Got it? Here's your intense, emotionally charged redemption arc in the style of Revenge Realm. Asterisk, they said my dream was a joke until I came back. I still remember the dinner table the night it happened. The clink of utensils, the smell of overcooked roast, and my father's voice low but sharp slicing through the air like a blade. You're embarrassing us, he said. My mother didn't look at me. My older brother smirked into his glass. I had just announced my decision. I was leaving my job at the hardware store to build my own indie game. I'd been working on it after hours for months, a strange, story-driven game about loss and hope. To me, it was art. To them, it was a punchline. You're throwing your life away for cartoons, my brother laughed. Grow up, my father added. We raised you to be practical. That night I stared at my untouched plate, heat burning behind my eyes. Their words weren't just doubt, they were dismissal. They didn't believe in me enough to even imagine the possibility of success. So I left, not dramatically, no storming out, no slammed doors. I simply pushed my chair in, stood and said, I'll prove you wrong. The first year was brutal. I lived in a cramped studio apartment with peeling paint and a mattress on the floor. My desk was a repurposed folding table. My computer was old, overheating every few hours. There were nights I worked until dawn, my hands numb from typing, my eyes aching from staring at pixel art for hours. I ate instant noodles, skipped parties, ignored texts. Some mornings I'd wake up to emails from my father, short, cold reminders that I could still come to my senses and get a real job. The loneliness was suffocating, my savings evaporated. I took on freelance coding gigs just to keep the lights on, but every time doubt clawed at me, I remembered their faces at that table, the smirk, the glare, the silence. That memory became fuel. 2 years in, the game was nearly done. I uploaded the trailer to a small forum, expecting maybe a few curious clicks. Instead, it went viral overnight. Thousands of comments poured in, people saying the art was beautiful, the story was unlike anything they'd seen. Streamers picked it up, my inbox flooded with messages from players telling me my work made them cry, made them think, made them feel. The game launched. In its first week, it sold more copies than I dared to dream of in a lifetime. Awards followed, interviews, invitations to speak at conferences. My name, the name they had once laughed at, was suddenly everywhere. Money wasn't the victory, recognition wasn't the victory. The victory was knowing I had built this from nothing. That I had been right to believe in myself when no one else did. 5 years after that dinner table humiliation, I drove back to my hometown. The streets felt smaller, the air smelled the same. When I pulled into my parents' driveway, I stepped out wearing a tailored coat, the kind I used to see only in magazines, and carrying a leather portfolio. Inside was a collector's edition of my game, signed, framed, mounted in glass. My father opened the door, his eyes flicked over me down to the polished car behind me. There was a hesitation, a flicker of recognition. My mother appeared at his side, her hand clutching his arm. My brother lingered in the hallway, his smirk gone. I didn't say much, I didn't need to. I placed the framed game on the table, the same table where they had once told me I was a disgrace. This, I said quietly, is the thing you called a joke. No one spoke. The silence was heavier than their old ridicule. I could see it in their eyes, the understanding that they hadn't just misjudged me. They'd never really known me at all. We sat there for a while, my mother's fingers traced the frame's edge. My father's jaw tightened, my brother looked away. I wasn't there for apologies, I didn't need them anymore. I was there to stand in the place where they had tried to crush me and show them I had turned that pressure into diamonds. Before I left, my father finally spoke. You did well. It wasn't much, but it was everything I'd ever get from him. I stepped outside, the winter air sharp in my lungs. As I walked to my car, I felt lighter than I had in years, because I knew deep down that the person they mocked had burned away long ago. And in his place stood someone unshakable, someone who didn't need their approval, someone who had already won. If you want, I can also craft alternate versions with different dreams, like painting or running a bizarre business, but keep the same Revenge Realm style. Would you like me to make one with an art-related dream next?